Good morning. Today we are going to discuss about the continuous process improvement cycle. Okay. So now we discuss about the what are the different types of quality problems which you have in the continuous improvement process. So there are 5 types of quality problems which you can occur. So those 5 are compliance problems, unstructured problems, efficiency problem, and process design problems, product design problems. So first these three problems are called as performance related problems. First 3 problems are called as performance related problems, and second 2 are called as design related problems. Means either it may be a process design problem or product design problem. So these are called as design related problems. So problems are basically categorized into performance related problems and design related problems. And under the performance related problems, what are those we can call as compliance problems and unstructured problems, efficiency problems. Whereas the design related is process design and as well as product design, because we have either it is business organization or a product organization, they will be having the process or product design problems. So next, compliance. We'll discuss one by one. Compliance. So how it occurs, this problem, how these problems occurs, how these problems occurs. So when you look at here, when a structured system having a standardized inputs, process, and outputs is performing unacceptably from the user's point, means the users who is the end user, in the sense the customer point of view. The end user is nothing but the customer point of view. If the performance of the product or a process is not acceptable, then these kind of compliance problems occurs. So when a structured system having the standardized inputs and the process and outputs is not is performing unacceptably, then from the user point of view, then it is the compliance problems occurs. So how to identify these kind of problems? So by comparing with the standards, or by feedback from the internal or external customers. So if the performance is not acceptable, then from the customer point of view, you can find out by using the feedback. But if there is in the internal customers, if I talk about internal customers, so we need to set the standards for each and every process, and we need to compare with those with the standards. So if there is any deviation, then we can say there is a compliance problem. So problem identification can be done by comparing with the standards or by feedback from the internal or external customer. Then what is the challenge of this problem? The major challenge in this compliance problem is determining the root cause of the non-conformity. So for identification of root cause is very difficult in this case. Identification of root cause is difficulty in this case. That is the major challenge in the compliance problems. And how these can be diagnosed? How these compliance problems can be diagnosed? So it can be difficult because process are quite complex. Because the products are quite complex in this case. That's why the diagnosis is also kind of difficult. Diagnosing the problem is also difficult. That's why the major challenge has become determining the root cause of non-conformity. Non-conformity means which is not conform to the standards, It's called as non-conformity. Next, second problem is unstructured problem. Second one is unstructured problem. Means what are those unstructured problems? Means it resembles it is similar to the compliance problems. But except in that they are not specified by the standards. Whereas the compliance problems are set by the standards, and they are compared by the standards, and so that they can identify that. But these problems, unstructured problems, are similar to that, but they are not specified by the standards. So how to identify the problem identification? Problem identification can be done by negative feedback of the customer. So this is how if the customer has given the negative feedback on the particular process or product, then we can identify that it is a kind of unstructured problem. What is the major challenge in this? The determining the customer needs and to diagnose the causes of poor performance. So what are the customer needs? So identifying the customer needs is a major challenge in this kind of problems, and to diagnose those causes of poor performance. So what are the causes for poor performance of the process or product? That is also a kind of challenge for the in this kind of unstructured problems. Then what is the organization role in this case? Unstructured problems. When the unstructured problems arises, what the organization has to do? The organization need to treat each customer as an individual and maintain a database on acceptable and unacceptable behavior. Means, so the customer, whatever he gives, the satisfied way or unacceptable, dissatisfaction or negative feedback, that has to be maintained a database. So each customer has to be maintained a they need to see that each and every customer is very important. So the database which is given by the customer, that is the feedback given by the customer, it has to be maintained. So the organization role is to analyze this customer feedback and then they have to solve this kind of problems. So that is the organization role. Next, efficiency problem. So first of all, efficiency problem occur when the system is performing unacceptably from the viewpoint of its owners or operators. So efficiency in the sense the performance is measured in terms of efficiency. So if it is not up to the mark, if it is not performing what we are expecting, then we can say that the process or product is not of that much efficient. Is not of that much efficient. That is from the point of owners or operators. Means operators who is working on the machine or who is owning that particular product is called as owners or operators. So from their point of view, we can say that the efficiency problem occur when the system is performing unacceptably. Okay, so what are these efficiency problems? Generally, when the end user is not satisfied, means the customer, end user in the sense who uses the product, or who owns the product is called as end user. End user is not satisfied, or working conditions not acceptable. The working conditions or working environment is not acceptable. The process is more costly than desired. So the process is more costly than desired. Say for example, the performance which you have set is it is incurring the more cost than the process which is more costly than desired. That is also one kind of efficiency problems. So how these problems can be solved? So problem solving is directed towards reducing the cost and providing the safe working environment. So that we can see, if you provide the safe working environment and you are trying to reduce the cost of the product or process, then you are going to improvise the efficiency. You are going to improvise the efficiency. And identification can be happen from the benchmarking and operator suggestions, because the operator is going to who operates the machine and he knows that how the process is carrying out and what are the problems in that. So operator may suggest in saying that these are the problems which can be so that you can take care of, so that you can improve the process efficiency. So that is how the identification can be done from the benchmarking and as well as the operator suggestions. So these are called efficiency problems. Now we'll move on to the design related problems. So first we discuss about the process design problems. Process design problems. So it occurrence of this process design problem, process becomes obsolete. Say for example, whatever the process you are using right now may not be used further, because of the advancement in the technology, or it may be poor designing of the process. The process which you have designed, it may be very poor designing, means that is not giving the quality output or quality product. So that is the occurrence of the process design problems. Whereas how to identify these kind of process design problems? So it can be identified by by finding that there is a poor performance and it is not meeting the standards, or if you are trying to introduce a new product, the process which you have older one has to be redesigned. So that is why process design identification can comes when you are introducing a new products. So poor performance and benchmarking or introducing the new products will become the identification of process design problems. So what is the solution for this kind of process design problem? So if I want to introduce a new product, then I have to go on the development of new process as well as the revision of existing process. So development of new process, in the sense if it is improved, performance is not up to the mark, then we need to revise the process. We need to revise the existing process and improve the process so that the performance can be improved. Similarly, if I am trying to introduce the new product, or the solution for that, develop the new process for producing that kind of new products. So these two things are solution for the process design problems. Generally, process design problems occurs because the process becomes obsolete. If the process becomes obsolete and with advances in the technology or poor designing. Next, we'll move on to the product design problems. So, what are the product design problems? Product design problems are which involves is that development of a new products and revision of existing products. So this generally product design when it comes this kind of problems means when you are trying to go product designing a product. Suppose if I want to try to improvise or if you want to develop a new product which is which is a novel product, then you need to go with the product design. So and also revision of existing products. Suppose the existing products has to be some modification to be done, some modification. In that situation also you need to go for the by incorporating those modification you can go for the product design problems. Next, how these kind of problems occurs. As we know that as a result of poor product performance, if there is a poor product performance, automatically then we are going to review it, and so there is need to change in the product design. There is a need in changing the product design. So that has to be taken care of. So as a result of poor product performance, these product design problems can be occurred. And what is the challenge in this? What is the challenge in product design? Because when I want to try to design the product, the customer ultimately the product which is used by is end user or customer, external customer. So the external customer has to be satisfied with the my product design. So in order to do that, translating the user needs means user in the sense the customer needs, translating the customer needs into the constraints. Needs and constraints into the requirements or specifications, product attributes and specifications. So if you are able to translate the user needs and constraints into the specification and the attributes, then we are going to solve these kind of product design problems, because the customer satisfaction is very important with your product design. So if there is any change in the customer needs, then immediately you need to identify it, and then they need to be translated into specification of that particular product and our product attributes. So these can be done by using the quality function deployment. So this is one of the technique which is you going to study in the module 5. So quality function deployment is a technique which is I'm going to use for translating the needs into product attributes as well as the specification. So these are the 5 types of problems, how they occur, how they are going to identify those problems, and what are the challenges in those problems, and these are all discussed. Now we will move on to the PDSA cycle. The PDSA cycle. What is PDSA cycle? P stands for what? D stands for what? S stands for what? And A stands for what? So PD, it is a sequence is also in the same kind. It starts from P and then D, then S, and then A. So P, plan, do, study, act cycle. The plan. This is called a PDSA cycle, which is used for the improvement, which is used for the continuous improvement, process. So the what PDSA cycle, how to start with? So generally you need to go with the plan, then do, then study, then act. So what actually says, say generally in a simple word, plan in the sense what you're going to do is what you want to do, that is to be made as a plan. So what you want to do is in the phase of plan phase. Do in the sense do it. So what you want to do, that you need to do it in the do phase. Whereas the study phase, what the study phase is, you have done it. So once you have done it, the results which are going to occur. So you need to study those results which you have occurred, because you have planned and you are going to compare with the plan. So whether what you have planned and whether you got the same result or not. So if there is any deviation, then you need to act on it. Means whatever you have learned from these results, that has to be incorporated in the improved plan. So in the improved plan, then once again the cycle starts. Improved plan comes, then implement that improvement plan, that is do it, then study the results, then act on it. So once you study the result as the improvement plan, at least if you improvise something, then you can act on that. Once again you can improve on the it is a cyclic process. You can improve the process. That is what you can call as PDSA cycle. And in this, First, we'll discuss what is the plan phase. Plan phase, objective predictions, plan to carry out the cycle. Okay, plan for data collection. You can plan what you want to do actually. So okay, so plan what you want. What is the objective? What is the objective of the work which you want to do? So that and also you need to you can have a if I am going to plan this, this has to be done in that way. So that the predictions also will be having. So objective predictions. This you need to plan in the sense what you want to do, that has to be mentioned in the plan phase. So next, do phase. So do phase, as we told that do it. Do phase in the sense do it. What you plan, that you do it. So carry out in the do phase, what you are going to do is carry out the plan and document observations and record the data. Because as you are doing the work which you have planned, then you need to record the data, and also you need to have the document observation and carrying out the plan. So when you do phase is over, then because you know that the something is done, then you'll be getting some results. So that results you need to study the study phase. So what the study phase? Whatever the data you collected, whatever the data you recorded in the do phase, whatever the data you recorded in the do phase, it has to be analyzed. And compare the results to prediction, and compare, because the whatever what you have predicted in the plan phase. So you might have predicted that the results will come like this. So what you have predicted, and you need to what the results you have got, you need to compare those. So compare the results obtained by you and what you have predicted in the plan phase. So in the plan phase, we told that objective predictions means what you are going to expect in the result. So that is, and also plan to carry out the cycle means how to carry out the work that you have to plan. So here objective prediction is nothing but predicting the results, what you want to get at the end of the do phase. So here the compare the results with the prediction, then summarize what was learned from that. Because if you are getting the predicted results, it is okay, but if you have got the difference between the predicted results and obtained results, then there is a deviation. So what you have learned from that, learned from that means what is the deviation, why it has happened. So that is nothing but summarize what was learned from the studying the results. Next, we'll go after studying the results, then we are going to act on that. So means what changes are to be made, means what improvements has to be taken in the plan. What plan is done, because the plan which you have done and the results which you have got might be different. So in order to improvise the plan, then what changes has to be made, so that it needs to be checked out. So next, you need to start with the next cycle, means improvise the plan, and then move on doing it, then study the results and compare the results with the predictions. If it is okay, then it is slightly, of course you can stop there, but if it is still not improved, then you can go for once again acting upon that. Means what you have learned from the results, that has to be incorporated in the improved plan. So that is, it repeats the cycle, PDSA cycle. Okay, so this is about the small PDSA cycle which is used in the continuous process improvement. Now we'll move on to the problem solving method, because the problem solving method is very important in the case of continuous process improvement. So process improvement, how we are going to achieve this? When it operates within a framework problem solving method. So if I incorporate the problem solving method, then we can achieve the best results for the process improvement. So what is this method? It consists of seven phases. Those phases are integrated because each phase is dependent upon the previous phase. So there are 7 phases, and the phases are integrated because each phase is dependent upon the previous phase. Means it has to be, all phases are interlinked. So what is the objective of this problem solving method? It is nothing but, as I told you, if when I use this problem solving method, then we can achieve the best results in the process improvement. So the objective of this problem solving method itself is continuous process improvement. continuous process improvement. We'll see that. See, this is the continuous process improvement cycle, which is incorporated with the PDSA cycle, which is incorporated with the PDSA cycle. This is called as continuous process improvement cycle. This is also called as continuous process improvement cycle, where we have incorporated the PDSA cycle, where we have incorporated the PDSA cycle. And these 7 phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and phase 5, 6, and 7. These are called problem solving phases. So problem solving phases with the PDSA cycle is called as continuous improvement cycle. Continuous improvement cycle. So there are 7 phases as we discussed. What are those phases? So first, identify the opportunity. See, identify the opportunity is related to the plan phase, and analyze the process which you want to analyze, that is also in the plan phase. And third one, develop the optimal solutions. Develop the optimal solution is also involved in the plan phase. And phase 4, implementation phase, where it is also involved in the do phase. It is involved in the implementation, in sense doing what you have planned, that has to be carried out. Implementation is nothing but what you have planned in the plan phase, that has to be carried out in the do phase. Phase 5, study the results. Study the results means nothing but what you have implemented, you will be getting the result. So that results has to be studied. That results has to be studied. So this phase 5 is connected to the study phase. Phase 4 is connected to the do phase, and 1, 2, 3 phases is connected to the plan phase. And 6, standardize the solution. Standardize the solution means which you have learned from the results, which whatever you have learned from the results, that has to be incorporated. That has to be incorporated in the improvised plan, and then make the standardized. Make it standardized. The process has to be standardized. Then plan for the future. This is also act, because it is you are planning for the future. Then it is an improvised plan. Improvised plan. So that is also in the act phase, and as well as planning phase, because that we are going to incorporate in this. So these are the 7 phases which are interrelated with the PDSA cycle. First 3 phases with the plan phase, and the 4th phase is going to be do cycle, and phase 5 is connected to the study, and phase 6 and 7 is connected to the act, and 7 is also connected to the plan phase, because that is plan phase, plan for the future. So it is to be in the plan phase as well. So now we'll discuss one by one each phase. One by one each phase we are going to discuss. Phase 1. Phase 1, what it says about the identify the opportunity. Phase 1 is identify the opportunity. So identify the opportunity. How you are going to opportunity? Opportunity is nothing but opportunity for the improvement. Opportunity for the improvement. So how you are going to find the opportunity improvement? If there is a problem, then it is an opportunity for improving the problem, improving the process or product performance. So identify the opportunity. The objective of this phase is to identify and prioritize the opportunities for improvement. The objective of this phase is to identify and prioritize the opportunities for improvement. See here, identify is one, and the prioritize is very important in this case. Prioritize is nothing but you are prioritizing the problems. Which are the different problems which you have, which is very important, that has to be taken first. For the improvement of the process. The objective of this phase is to identify and prioritize the opportunities for improvement. It consists of 3 parts. In this phase, 3 parts are there. First is identify the problem. As we know that identify the problem, then form the team. Once you have problem identified, you need to form a team to solve that kind of problem, and define the scope. Nothing but objective. Define the objective. And to qualify as a problem. See, first of all, as I told you, identify the problem. So how the problem can be identified? What you say that it is a problem? When you say it is a problem, when it is the quality problem, that means to qualify as a quality problem, the following 3 criteria to be met. What is that? First and foremost is performance. Because if the performance varies with the established standard, means you are established some standard and you are not, it is not process or product is not performing up to the standard, then yes, there is existence of a quality problem. So to qualify that it is a problem, then it has to meet the criteria that if the performance varies from an established standard, then we can say that there is a existence of problem. Next, deviation from the perception and the facts. Deviation in the sense actual, see we have comparing the actual and the obtained result, I mean set standards to the obtained standards, so obtained results. So when you have a deviation from this, then from the perception and as well as the facts, then we can say that there is a problem. And whenever the cause is unknown, then there is existence of a problem. So to qualify as a problem, these following three criteria to be met. One is performance varies from an established standard, deviation from the perception and the facts, and the cause is unknown. Next, yeah. So how these problems can be identified? Once you know that this is a problem, because first is, as I told you, there are three parts. In the phase one, identifying the opportunities for the improvement. So in that three parts, we are discussing the identify the problem, form the team, define the scope. So identification of the problem in the sense, first of all, you should know what is called as a problem. So the problem is identified by using these three criteria. Once I identify that there is a problem in the process or product, then use this problems identification can be used. Can be done by using the Pareto analysis. Problems can be identified by using Pareto analysis, customer surveys, employee surveys, brainstorming by work groups, etc. Means, see how this Pareto analysis is nothing but vital few. You need to find out the vital few, in the sense which are very important, but in a very small, 80%, 20% we can call it as 80%, 20% means 20% of the problems causes from the 80%. I mean, 80, which is called as 80-20 rule also, which is called as 80-20 rule Pareto analysis, that we'll discuss in the next chapter, Pareto analysis. So problem identification done by using the Pareto analysis. Customer surveys, of course, the customer surveys is very important to know that where the problems are, because the performance related problems. As I told that the first criteria, if the performance varies from the established standards, this can be identified. By using the customer service, because the customer is the end user, which he knows that the product or process performance, and then this can be done by using the customer surveys. And employee surveys as well. Employee surveys also can be done. Employee surveys, because the working group means which are the employees of the organization, those can be, the problems can be identified from the employee surveys as well. And the brainstorming in the work groups. So work groups who carry out the work, work groups who are carrying out the work, they also can be identified easily. The through brainstorming. So here the quality council or a work group must prioritize the problems. As we told that the priorities of the problem is very important, because some of the problems might be taken care later, but some of the problems has to be cleared immediately. So those kind of problems are taken utmost care. So that is why the quality council or a work group has to be prioritize the problems. Accordingly, they have to take up and then find out the solution for that problem. And if the problem is of multifunctional nature, means the problem which you have identified, and it is of multifunctional nature, then the team should be selected and asked by the quality council to address the improvement of specific task. Means, see, as I told you, there are three parts. First one is the identification of the problem. So identification of the problem can be done by Pareto analysis, customer surveys, employee surveys, brainstorming, and all those. After identifying the problem and prioritizing the problem, the next step is team formation. If it is within the work natural team only, then it is not a problem. But if the problem exists with the multifunctional nature, if the problem exists with the multifunctional nature, then the team which should be formed by the multifunctional team in the sense, the team members, the members has to be selected. The members should be selected by the quality council, and they are asked by the quality council to address the improvement of a specific task, because it is a multifunctional nature with a different department. So the quality council has to form the team. The quality council has to form the team by using the multi departments, and then they have to address these team members in improvising the specific task. Finally, we talk about the three. We talked about the three parts of this. Identify the opportunities. One is the identify the problem, form the team, and define the scope. So the last phase, define the scope with well-written problem statement and a comprehensive authorization for team. So define the scope with well-written problem statement and comprehensive authorization for team. So this is very very important. Is authorization will be given for the team authorization, in the sense giving the responsibility and authority in carry out the work. And also you need to write the problem statement in a well way, because that will solve the 80% of the problem. Because if you have clearly stated the problem statement, which gives you a which can give the solution in a